is Sharon from Paper Crafts from the Heart. I'm here today with a card challenge. I found this card on Pinterest, and it's called Embossing Folder Pop. I don't know about you, but I have tons of embossing folders that I totally forget about using. So basically the technique is to take your embossing folders and ink them up, and you'll get a result looking like some of these cards here. So basically you're kind of stamping with your embossing folders, but I thought this was like a simple technique, but it has a lot of pop to it. So in this one I used 3 different shades of blue, and I thought this was a good way to get a fast masculine card if you need something quick. And then this one I did rainbow colors, and these two are the same embossing folder. I just used 2 different sides of the embossing folder. So on your embossing folders, you have the raised, I'll call it the 3D side, and then the sunken in side. When you use the sunken in side, you're gonna get this effect with a bolder color. And when you use the raised side, you're gonna get this effect here where you have more white and then the color is on the inside of it. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and use this heart embossing folder. It's called Heart Blocks. It's an older Cuttlebug one I have. And we're going to use 3 different shades of pink. And I'm going to go ahead and use the flat side so that we can get more coverage on there. Now this one is a little bit different, so it might stamp a little bit different because it's kind of 3-dimensional and flat on both sides. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the ink, and I'm going to start with the lightest color and work my way up, kind of give it an ombre effect. And I'm just going to drag it over the ink pad over the embossing folder a few times until I get it covered enough. So the first one was Ballerina, and I'm using Close to My Art stamp pads. This next one is Flamingo, and I am going to overlap them a little bit because I am trying for that ombre effect. And then the next one I'm going to bring in is the Raspberry. Now I started with the lightest color first because I didn't want to get the darker colors in my lighter color inks. And then I'm just going to take a piece of white cardstock that I've trimmed down to 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm going to put it inside the embossing folder, and I'm just going to run it through the machine just like a regular embossing folder. So use whatever shims or plates that your machine calls for. And this is how it looks there. It has kind of an ombre look. And then I'm just using baby wipes to clean up. You want to do this on your glass craft mat or your all-purpose mat or even a scrap of cardstock. And then you can either just use the baby wipe to clean up the inside. I just took mine over to the sink and rinsed them out with a little bit of Dawn dishwashing soap. And then I liked the way they looked mounted on the black cardstock. I think it just gave it a good pop there. I found double-sided tape or a tape runner works a little better than liquid glue to adhere these down just because of the textures on the embossing folders. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Go there. And then all these cards really need is a very simple sentiment. They're kind of just really pretty on their own with the colors. So I just used a Close to My Heart thin cut set that says Love You. My title here. Trying to get it straight. Decide where I want to put the love. I'm gonna offset it. So then I'm just gonna come in with my glitter, art and glitter glue, and you do kind of have to cover it pretty good so that it sticks to the texture. There, and then I'm gonna grab a ruler real quick just so I can line my view up. Go up a little bit more. There. There we go. These are great for using up scraps too. Like I have a ton of black odd sized scraps. So these little thin cut words or titles and stuff are perfect for that. So there we go. There's the love you. And that was quick and easy. Okay, next I'm going to show you how I use this technique to create a 12 by 12 layout. I went ahead and cut strips of white cardstock to 1.5 by 10, and then I inked them using the embossing methods that I showed you, using different colors of ink pads from Close to My Heart to create some rainbow colored strips. So this first one is the candy apple, and then we have nectarine, lemonade, green apple, bluebird, grape, and raspberry. And I alternated using the raised embossing part so that the background is white with the color on the images. And then I used the flatter side of the embossing folder to do a solid paper with the white peeking through. And we're going to go ahead and create the rainbow effect in our layout. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and measure a 1/2 inch over, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start adhering these strips. I'm gonna go like an alternating pattern here like this. And if I laid these out and measured correctly, I should have about a 1/2 inch on each side of the paper just to frame it. Yep, there we go. It's about even. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these strips down real quick, and then I will go ahead and pull in my embellishments that I created. Okay, I've gone ahead and pulled out all these acrylic shapes that I have left over from last year's VIP special from Close to My Heart. Unfortunately, they're not available anymore, but like I was saying, if you have random embellishments left over in colors that you want to use up, this is the perfect layout to do it. So I'm going to kind of just lay some things out and see what I like and what I want to use. So here's some red pieces. Here's another star. So we'll do some stars there. And in the nectarine, I have these little flowers. So what other flowers I have? I think I like these two here. the middle of that one. And yellow. These two. Don't have anything in green, so I'm going to skip over that now and go on to the blue. So I can find there. A pair of glasses in the blue, that might be cute. Stick those right there. And then I don't have purple, so we're going to go ahead and skip over to the pink. In the pink, I have some hearts, so. I'm gonna go with those, and I'm gonna go dig through my embellishments again and see if I have anything I can have work with these, or maybe even stick some white onto these. Okay, so going through some of my embellishments that I had, I found some stars and some flowers in white. And what I'm gonna do is use my tri-blend markers and go ahead and color those. For the green apple, I'm gonna use the light green blends, the dark end of the marker, and that's gonna get me really close to this green apple color. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in and give it a few minutes to dry. Let's see what I can find. Use my piercing tool to just hold it still. There, and then for the grape color, I'm gonna have to mix two shades together to kind of get the color I want. So I'm gonna use the bright pink shades, the dark end of that, and then I'm gonna use the pink violet blend, also the dark tip of that. And just kind of blend the two colors together to create a shade close enough to the grape that it kind of will blend enough. Here. That's kind of the good thing about these tri-blend markers and white and even the wood grain embellishments. You can make them fit whatever you need as long as you can create that color. Just kind of shade it until you get close enough to where you want to be. So what I did on this one to create the grape, I might have to go back over it one more time once it dries, is use the pink violet blend as the base. Then I went over it with the bright pink shades, and then I went over it again with the pink violet, and that seemed to blend pretty close together to make this grape color. And then once these are all dry, I'd like to adhere them using just glue dots. I think those work the best. Some people like to use liquid glass, but I don't like to wait for it to dry. I like mine to be stuck as soon as I put them down, so I tend to use the glue dots. Okay. That's close enough for now. If we have to go back over it again, we can go ahead and do that once it's dry. Okay, I'm back to show everybody my finished layout here. I have all my embellishments on. I used these little skunks that are from the Little Stinker stamp set, which is going to be the May stamp of the month from Close to My Heart. I just thought the black and the skunks really popped on this layout with the rainbow colors there. And I added three 3x3 photos to this layout. And then here's a look at the cards again that we made at the beginning of the video. Here's the one we did together. And if you have any questions about any of the products, just let me know. And I want to say thank you to Miranda for hosting this crop again. They've been great fun over the weekends, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of your crop weekend.